I had like to choose between a couple of schools, and I had told myself I went to New York. I was like, if I want to see a sign somewhere, then like I should go to one of these schools. And my family went to IKEA, and I took a nap in there. When I woke up from my nap, I got out of the car, and there was a car with like a license template that said Temple on it, and I
Wow.
was like, OMG.
Good sign.
Yes, I literally was like, "There's my sign," because I literally was so shocked that like Temple, like a Temple placard all the way out in Brooklyn at an
Yes.
IKEA. I was like, "That's totally a sign." So then I went home, I put my deposit down, and I've been an owl ever since.
Welcome to the latest edition of Adeptus On-Air, and today we have a very special guest in Ivy Dieujuste. I just want to make sure I get that name right, last name pronunciation, and proud to say, Ivy, you are the latest scholarship recipient of the scholarship that I have at my alma mater at your school, Temple University. So thanks for joining Adeptus On-Air, and congrats again on receiving the scholarship this year.
Yes, thank you so much. It like literally meant so much to me and helped me out a lot this semester.
Awesome. We're very proud to do so. And just a quick background. So last year, I established a scholarship, $5,000 per year to a deserving student. Ivy, your resume and your credentials were off the charts. So very happy and very proud to award the scholarship to you. And just tell us how you found out about the scholarship. How did the school alert you that you were this year's recipient?
I got an email actually from the financial aid office. And then I got like another email from Deborah, the one who kind of like connected us together. And she kind of helped guide me throughout like the writing process because I've never written like a letter of appreciation before. But she helped me write that out, and then I sent it in, and then she was like, "Yeah, like you got it, and like congratulations." And I was super happy like to talk to you because you're like super nice. I do want you to know I thought you were like an actual foundation, so I spent like 30 minutes trying to like look you up online. I was like, OMG, who is this library? Like I was so lost. So I was like, so when she connected us, I was like, oh, this is like not an old man in a library. This is like a regular adult. This is so cool.
That's funny. That's funny you mentioned that. I didn't know that story because actually I'm pretty easy to find like on Google if you just kind of look at my background as far as what I did as career if you just look it up. But yeah, that's interesting that that's how you kind of looked at my background and found me. That's awesome. And speaking of letters, I actually have your wonderful letter that you did pen and did put together. And I wanted to read a little bit from the beginning because I thought it was touching and I thought there was some interesting parts in it. You said, I want to express my greatest thanks for having been selected as the recipient of the James E. Walker Scholarship. With this scholarship, I will be able to have a successful senior year free of many of the financial challenges I have faced in the past. Being a student at Temple University has been one of the biggest blessings I've been graced with. As a first-generation college student, I've been doing everything in my power to not only succeed academically, but also professionally and to make my family proud. Being honored with this scholarship has strengthened my confidence in the journey that I am taking and motivates me to continue. So very, very well written for one, very touching, and a few things stood out. You said first generation college student. I was the same thing, 20 plus years ago as a first generation in my family. How much does that mean to you? Kind of carrying that and with your family tree at Temple University.
It definitely means a lot. Like, now my aunt, she has like a college degree. However, like between my mother and my father and like the rest of like my father's family, they don't have college degrees. And like I use my aunt as like a lot of inspiration to see like the success I can like achieve because my mom, she definitely invested a lot in me. Without her degree, she didn't get to finish it because she had gotten pregnant with me when she was younger. And the fact that she made that sacrifice of like not going to school to take care of me in the end, like I basically was like, I need to do everything I can to make her not regret her choice, quote unquote. And also my grandfather, he had spent like I would say like basically his entire life taking care of my mother, my two aunts, and my uncle. And he went back to school at like 65 years old. And I was like, everybody in my family is like has done everything they can for like their kids and like just like are the younger generation, and I want to once again make them proud. Like I did not go through this for nothing. So those are like that's how I feel. It's also been like one of my biggest motivators.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And also something that you mentioned in the letter in terms of, you know, kind of helping your confidence, almost like confirmation that all your work that you're putting into, you know, is panning out and is being recognized, you know, and rewarded. So what does that mean to, you know, to also be recognized for all the years that you've been putting in so far and almost ready to complete?
It honestly feels amazing. When I first started, like it goes back to like high school. When I first started high school, I was like, this is insane. I kind of see why people drop out. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it was just high school. And then I graduated and I went to college and I was like, oh, I see why people drop out. And it was just like, it literally has been an amazing journey though to like continue pushing forward because you meet people with the same mindset who are like, this is insane and I should have dropped out. But like it's like we all had that same goal of like when this is all worth over, it's gonna be worth it. So like instead of kind of just harping on how difficult school was, I motivated myself to find better ways to like achieve school. And through there, I was able to like join a lot of like professional organizations and get a lot of professional opportunities, a lot of different academic opportunities. So kind of really help pan out both my vision for my future and then also like the current the current that I'm living in right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ivy. And what's it like being a college student nowadays? You know, it's been 25 years for me, so we didn't have social media to worry about. We didn't, you know, we didn't have really even cell phones in our pocket with the world basically in our hands and just plenty of distractions and stuff like that. Like, what is it like going through college in 2025?
Um Honestly, it's very hard. Like, I think it's really just because, well, I'm an accounting and a finance major. For like accounting, it's like a very difficult major, but it's hard in the sense that like the workload is a lot. And like, you know, with so much technology that we have like access to, the things that you know you could have used as an excuse back in the day, like, hey, I faced this, and this, and that's why I couldn't get my assignment done or I couldn't do this. There's like so many more barriers for if you need like a break. Like a lot of my professors are like, technology is an excuse to like not do this or not do that. And I imagine like 20 years ago that wasn't a thing. And then I guess the other thing is just that like definitely you can kind of it's you can kind of see like how people don't really pay attention in class, which is totally fine. But like then, you know, when midterms come and the professor is like, the class average was 62%, it's like, okay, guys. So but I guess like the other like additional hard part, at least that I really face, is kind of just like managing everything that you have going on. Like,
Yeah,
I love Fox so much, and there's so many opportunities, so many things that you can do, and it's like trying to find what's the best thing to do while managing your classes, managing going to work, managing to like have a life outside of all that stuff. It's a bit like overwhelming, but I do feel like it's worth it. Like even though it's a lot.
yeah. Now it's good practice for real life because you know once you do get out of college, you're gonna have to manage, you know, work and you know finances and social life and things like that. So college is a unique time in your life to where you kind of have you know you kind of have adult freedom, but without all the adult responsibilities, right? So you don't have a ton of bills, you don't have children, you know, things like that. But you do have adult freedom to where you can pick it if you want to sleep, you know, through class and miss. You know, you pay the consequences accordingly. That's your choice. So you have the freedom, but you don't have all the adult responsibilities yet. And then once you leave college, then all the adult responsibilities come in, and then it's really, you know, it's really game on at that point. Ivy, what's your Temple story? How did you land at Temple? How did you choose Temple University?
So, senior year of high school, my school went to William Penn Senior High School. We had like a little like college prep program that people who wanted to go to college could like attend, and through that, like I learned about Penn State, and they kind of made Penn State like the biggest thing ever. And I remember being like, I am not going to Penn State. So it's our school kind of just really motivates students to go to college. So like we would have dedicated time in our like honors classes to do the Common App. I applied to like, the big names everybody applies to. And then I applied for like some of the smaller schools that people that like had like visited us or like sent in their like brochures and all that stuff. And then I landed on Drexel University and Temple University. And I was like, I don't know who these people are, and I've never heard of either of these before. But the Common App makes applying to colleges so easy. So I just went like hit apply, and then, and then like I heard nothing for like a couple of months, and then I think it was like maybe March. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. It was like March or April. Um, I got like accepted, and I was like, maybe I should see what I applied to. And that's how I figured out like everything about Temple. They sound like a really good school. They gave me the most financial aid support. And then also it wasn't too far from like my family in New York. And also like I used to live in Philly when I was like way younger. And I was like, I want to see how it's changed. Hasn't much, but I that's kind of like my Temple journey. And then the final thing was I had like to choose between a couple of schools, and I had told myself I went to New York. I was like, if I want to see a sign somewhere, that like I should go to one of these schools. And my family went to IKEA, and I took a nap in there. When I woke up from my nap, I got out of the car, and there was a car with like a license template that said Temple on it, and I
Wow.
was like, OMG.
Good sign.
Yes, I literally was like, "There's my sign," because I literally was so shocked that like Temple, like a Temple placard all the way out in Brooklyn at an
Yes.
IKEA. I was like, "That's totally a sign." So then I went home, I put my deposit down, and I've been an owl ever since.
Wow, that's awesome. That's an awesome story. We actually have a colleague at our firm, Mike Hoffman, if he's listening to the podcast at some point, who's a big Penn State guy. So he'll be a little disappointed that you didn't choose Penn State, but I'm happy that you chose my alma mater in Temple. So it all worked out. That's awesome. So Ivy, part of the reason, one of the big reasons why I started the scholarship at Temple was because I noticed in our industry that the amount of baby boomers that are retiring and leaving the industry in the next, say, 5 to 10 years is right now is outpacing the amount of young talent that is coming into accounting and finance and those kind of industries. So it was important to me to kind of help boost the younger generation in any in a way that I can, through Temple University. What led you to that business where you could have chosen anything? You could have chosen engineering. You could have chose fashion or whatever field that's out there. What led you to accounting and finance? What interests you in those fields?
Um, Once again, like another hilarious used to live with my family story. I had like my life planned out from like the fifth grade
Oh,
because I wanted to like no, it's for a silly reason. We had like a college professional come to our school one day, and like they were like, oh, next time I come, I want to see like a plan about what idea you guys have for the future. And I want it to be better than everybody. So I made a bunch of like research on like chief financial officers. And I made that my goal for like since I was in the fifth grade. So then I came to Temple when I majored in finance. And then I don't know if you know like Elizabeth Gordon.
no.
Um, okay, well now she's like the dean of the accounting department, but she had like invited me to her office and she sat me there for like an hour and she was like, "This is why you should be an accounting major." And I was like, I guess I'll be an accounting major. And um, I got like my first internship from EY, and they were like, "Oh, you need like 150 credits, and also like you need to be a college major, like a accounting major, and you need to be ready when you graduate, take your CPA." And I was like, "Well, I gotta dedicate myself like I did in the fifth grade." Like, so that's kind of it. The only reason why I never like dropped accounting like a lot of my other friends did is literally because I was like, I already started. I can't quit now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
once you're in it, you gotta, especially you got the credits and everything like that. You gotta stay and finish the job. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Ivy, how do you keep yourself busy away from school? What organiz? I know you're obviously part of NABA, National Association of Black Accountants, but how do you keep yourself, busy outside of school?
Um, well, I have a job. I work at Walgreens, in Center City, like downtown Philly. Um, I work anywhere between 3 to 4 days a week, 29 to 34 hours per week. And like it's a bit my job is like kind of difficult, but I've been there for so long, it's kind of gotten a little easier. And I do enjoy like my coworkers and like the core part of my job, which is like putting things away and helping out customers. And when I'm not at work, I like to give myself hobbies at home to like take me away from school, but I don't really usually have a lot of time for that. But like I like to like dabble in things I want to like explore in the future. So yeah, but it's mainly work. It's mainly work.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Artificial intelligence is a big topic, and no matter what age group, your age group, my age group, in society in general. Coming from the younger generation, where you all are kind of growing up with it at a young age. What's your thoughts on it? Take it wherever you want to go with it. Pros, cons. How has it been working? What's your thoughts on AI and just how it's kind of being integrated in society?
Personally speaking, I have very much like diminished my usage of like generative AI. I could see where the pros come from, mainly because like I feel like you guys can tell when you do like a Google search that's not like Google Scholar, searching anything up is like impossible. And I definitely do see how like AI is really good for like condensing things and helping you find information better. However, like even even ignoring like the sustainability aspect, I definitely do feel like it makes you not like as capable or cognitive that you could be. I actually used like AI before it got popular, as what I used to always say, and like it was helping me out. Like it was like really good back then, so it was helping me out. And I was like actually able to finish my assignments like really fast, and I was able to do this, that, and third. But then like one day I tried to spell the word Wednesday and I couldn't, and I was like, "Okay, I gotta stop using AI because that's crazy." And so my personal opinion is like I feel like people shouldn't be using it because that's literally what happens. Like you become so dependent on it that you can't like think for yourself. So I think that's like the biggest con that like is why I personally think that like people should stop using it, especially college students. Like even my friends now, like sometimes I'm like, you guys can't even brainstorm things without using like chat or like
Mm,
Copilot. So I personally think that like on like an intelligence level, it's just not good for that. And then like on sustainability level, like obviously it's not good like at all.
that's interesting. No, that's an interesting take because I guess I could see, and I don't use it. I don't use it much at all, but I
Yeah.
could see the creative process, cognitive process, creative process of things kind of being diminished if you just rely, on the AI, and it's almost like the AI is doing the creative process and not yourself. So I could see that in a lot of schoolwork, certain subjects, particularly it takes creativity and it takes it's not just answer A, B, or C. It's projects and things like that where it takes some thought and some creativity. So I can see how that's impacted. No, that's a no, it's definitely an interesting take on that. That's definitely an interesting take on that. Ivy, what are some of your goals for the future, near term, long term? Obviously, graduation's a big one, but what are some, let's say, 1 to 3 years out? What are some goals you have upcoming for your future?
Yes. Okay. So I got a full-time job offer from JP Morgan to work in their internal audit department. So
Congrats.
I was like so happy. I tried to be nonchalant when she offered me, like when she told me about the offer, and I couldn't. I was so happy. But I think like a year, maybe 2 years from now, I definitely want to finish their rotational program and be like a full-on employee, and kind of just be really good at like my job. And I think that's like where I see myself and I really want to work towards. And then like the other thing I want to say is that I definitely want to follow in your footsteps of like providing students like some form of financial aid because I know how hard it is to be in school with like no money. So I think like I want to work as hard as you so I can like provide that financial support. So these are the two main goals that I have for myself.
Ivy, that's awesome. I'm glad I could be an inspiration with that. And I will say, I mean, even if it's not financial, you can lend your expertise, you can lend your, your time, your knowledge, your experience, your mentorship, things like that, that may not cost a thing that as you work and, up the ladder to get, financially stable and things like that. So you can always, help out younger students in that way. But that's awesome that, I was able to inspire that part in you. So I'm proud, I'm proud of that, Ivy, and I appreciate the compliment with that. That's amazing. Ivy, last question I have for you. What would you say is the hardest part about being a college student, and the best part about being a college student? What, at this stage, just to kind of give, we have listeners of all different ages, so what's your perspective on that as far as being a college student today, the hardest part and the best part?
The hardest part is definitely like the time part. You like, especially if you're like a student who, like me, who has every piece of like college in me. Like, I do the class work, I do the student organization work, I do the volunteering for like different parts of the school. Like, I volunteer for like the CSPD and stuff like that. You get really consumed with like how much you have to do. And it's like all the advice people give you on like time structure, it doesn't work. Like, you had to find your own thing. But that can take you years. Like, it took me senior year to like fully fix everything out, and I graduate next semester. So, so that's the biggest thing. But I think the easiest slash like best part of college is the overall experience. I always tell people that like if I would have went to any other school, I would not have been able to make as many connections as I have, as many friendships as I had, as many like mentors I've met. Like, you connect with so many people, it like really like highlights your experience. And it's like, even though you have horrible time management and you're like it's 11:30 p.m. and you have 4 assignments due, you at least on the next day you're gonna meet with like your friends, you're gonna meet with like a professional, like a mentor who's gonna really help you out. And I think that's like the best part.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ivy. Thank you so much, Ivy. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining Adeptus On-Air and sharing your unique insight. And congrats again on the scholarship, Ivy. Very proud of you and all the work that you're doing, and happy that everything's working out, Ivy. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me. Have a great one.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.